First thing to think about is Feng Shui means wind and water, fluid. You see, they believed the energy was fluid. The chi, the life force, behaved like fluid, liquid. And that goes the same with the old-fashioned science, the ether. In the days when the scientists believed in ether, they believed that electricity was fluid, pure fluid. So all fluid dynamics. And the ether is more mysterious. That's metaphysical. That's the chi. That's the life force. It's not physical, it's metaphysical. Herein lies a lot of the confusion and why modern science can't understand it. But still, it behaves like fluid. Fluid. So they had the idea, fluid is, this energy is fluid, and it just should flow nicely. So when you're looking at Feng Shui, you're looking at how to make this energy flow nicely inside a space where you live, or, in a larger area. And you're analysing that area and you're trying to optimise the flow of energy. And it's the same we do in Qigong training, internal training, yoga. We're trying to move the energy, position the body in a better way so that the energy, the fluid, flows better through the body. That's what Tai Chi is. You're flowing energy through the body. And in Feng Shui, you're doing the same thing. You're moving, flowing energy in a space. So we can all do that straight away. Look at a space and imagine water, energy flowing through the space, and then trying to see where it would interact. How could I make this energy flow better? You see, for example, now we all live in square boxes. Square boxes, it's difficult for the energy to flow. It gets stuck in the corners. You see, really, Feng Shui, they want nice fluid buildings. They create meandering pathways. They don't like straight ones so much. They like the energy to flow gently, softly, naturally, to make a nice, easy, comfortable space to live in. But if you understand the energy, what it is, you can also build technology. So you see a lot of these ancient temples, ancient structures have got long straight lines. So this will be very powerful energy when you create these long straight lines. So it will have a particular purpose to it. But in terms of a living space, it's nicer to have softer lines. So they would have, again, like the ancient people, would build round houses. You'd always be round. Energy turns better in a round house. And of course the Native Americans, they had teepees. It's round but goes up like a pyramid. Very powerful space for energy flow. Very powerful indeed. So we can all do that, have a feeling of this straight away. Then the next thing we need to understand is the four directions, north, south, east and west. Now these have another effect, and it's hard for us to understand how could that possibly have an effect. Well, think about it physically. There is something physical going on. North and south is the magnetic field of the earth. So then the line of north to south, that's the magnetic field lines run along that direction. So that is a physical effect. Then you've got east and west. What's east and west? East and west is the spin of the earth. The earth is spinning. So if I face east, I'm moving towards the sun. The earth is spinning that way. The sun is rising. So I'm moving towards the sun if I face east. Likewise, if I face west, I'm moving away from the sun. I'm moving backwards. The sun is setting. I'm moving away from the sun. So that's a physical effect. So between north and south, east and west, there is some physicality to it. And that will have an energetic effect on a space. But of course, it's deeper than that. These four cardinal points also relate to metaphysics. It's actually the five elements. The five elements. So north and south is water. North is water, south is fire, east is wood, west is metal. That's in the Taoist five elements. But in the middle is earth. That's the fifth one, is in the middle. There's also a line, a cross line that will be earth. And you can also arrange the five elements in a pentagram. Again, that goes, they'll have a pentagram, and that goes together with the ancient Greek. They have a pentagram, and that's where magic comes from. Again, the five elements, but that's really ancient Greek metaphysics, very serious mathematics. And of course, the Indians have got their 5 elements. Some have 4 elements. But the 5th one will be the middle, the balance of the other 4. So that's where the 5th one comes in. So that's why you've got the cross and the center. And the 5 elements is metaphysics because it relates to so many different things. It's like if you talk about the universe in terms of yin and yang. Yin and yang. What does that mean? See, modern science can't understand it because it's subjective. It means so many different things. Masculine, feminine. Yeah, okay, that's biology. But you can also look at it as electricity and magnetism. Now it's science. You see, and you can look at it as heaven and earth. Now that's philosophy. And you can divide it more into the 5 elements, and then you can look at those in different ways. So the 5 elements will connect to the planets. They'll connect to your internal organs. They'll connect to the directions, the cardinal point directions on the earth. They'll connect to time, the movement of time, processes in the universe. And that's the reason why this metaphysics is so difficult, because you can interpret it in so many different ways. And that's why we've got all these different esoteric sciences. And modern science, don't take them seriously because they're all different. But they're not. If you look at the underlying principles of all of these different esoteric sciences, the underlying principles are the same. Very simple. And that's what I'm trying to talk about on this channel, the underlying principles of metaphysics, and I'm calling it body efficiency training, because that is the very purpose of it. What's the point of studying metaphysics? Metaphysics actually is about efficiency. If you put things together in just the right way, they become more efficient. This is alignment. I put these things together in just the right way, energy flows better, it becomes more efficient. But putting these things in alignment, what does that mean? That's metaphysics. That's geometry. But all technology is still doing that. It's doing that in a particular way where electricity or some physical energy will flow properly. That's what an electrical circuit is. You have to put the wire in alignment with things, and then the electricity will flow through the circuit. That's the same as Feng Shui. Feng Shui, you put things in alignment so the energy, the electricity flows through. The life force flows through. So you've got that one idea. Then you can look at the alignment of the room. Where's north, where's south, where's east, west. And then you might have an idea, you think about it, okay, magnetic field is this way. The sun rises and sets this way. So of course in the corner where the sun rises, that's going to have a bit of an effect. That's nice to wake up at the sunrise. Where the sun sets, that's a nice place to go to sleep, for example. Then you've got the north and the south pole. Again, a slightly different energy lining up with that. That's a more powerful. If you sleep in the direction of the magnetic field, that can be very powerful. But it can be too powerful. And then you've got the cross directions. There's somewhere in between. Somewhere in between. So if you want to understand the cross directions and how this all works, you have to look at the cardinal points philosophically. So that's where the I Ching comes in and the 5 elements comes in. So north, you see in the Chinese way, the Taoist way, they put north at the bottom. So north is at the bottom, that's water. And you can think of that again in terms of energy. Water is now material reality, the physical realm. It's philosophy now. The top is fire. The south pole is fire. The south direction is fire. But that is heaven. That is pure energy. That's metaphysics. That's the cosmos. That's fire. And then you've got east and west. So you've got wood in the east. West is metal. Wood, you can think of wood as the process of water going up to fire. Water rises up, warms up, goes through wood up towards fire. So wood is a process. And then metal, on the other side, you can think of it as the process of fire going down into water. It's condensing, becoming like crystal. So crystals are being formed, and that creates matter, material realm. You see, philosophically speaking, the 5 elements are processes, the way the energy moves in the universe. The process of manifestation and demanifestation, creation and destruction. And it's happening continuously. It's a cycle of yin and yang. yin and yang. And again, you can think of yin as the softer, the movement, yang as the hard, the solid. And Feng Shui is moving these hard, solid objects around to try and create a nice fluid movement. So really, again, you can do this like a child, like an artist. You have to feel the room, look at what you've got, try and work out, imagine energy flowing, how you want it to move. And just feel it, you'll get ideas, and you experiment with it. See, I've done this experiment years ago, sleeping in all different directions to find out what the effect is. And you can study Feng Shui, there's loads of books. But you see, even within Feng Shui, there's different styles. They all interpret it slightly differently. And of course, they do it with time. The stars, astrology, that's also Feng Shui. They do it together, they time it. And they look at your astrology and then work it out. But even that, again, is just like you can go into the details of the written philosophy, but you don't need to. You can do this with pure intuition of a child. You just feel it. You see, it's so complicated. It's so complicated, there's no real book that will tell you the answer. Not really. That's why there's so many books, so many philosophies. It's subjective science. It applies to you, but it applies to you in this particular position at this particular time. That's unique. Only me, only I am here at this table. You are somewhere else in your space. So it's difficult to follow the same book. You have to follow your intuition. That's the ultimate mastery. So you meditate, you experiment, play around with it, think about it, visualize it, feel it, and you'll be able to work it out. And Feng Shui, essentially just means tidying up. You tidy up your space. It's interior design and exterior design. But of course, they do the design just randomly. You have to do the design with feeling, with awareness of energy, the life force. And there is a science to it. Like I said, you can look at the science, north, south, east, west. But again, there's two ways. You can look at it in terms of the, magnetic north, east and west. But when you look at it in terms of the doorway, the entrance, when you walk into a space, the front door, or the room, you walk into the room, the front door, that is now the beginning, the start. So that you can also call the north. That becomes the north in Feng Shui. Feng Shui, when you walk in the door, that's the beginning. So from north, you look south, opposite, and then you've got east and west on the sides. And then you can look at the room and imagine it like that. But at the same time, you've got to look at magnetic north. And ideally, when you build a building, you've organised this such that your front door is already aligned with magnetic north somehow, in the best way you feel, for it. But that's two ways you look at it. And then you think about it. Start thinking about how this might work. What's a good way of playing with this energy to optimize the space for your well-being. But you have to think about whose space it is. What do they need? What feeling do they need? What healing do they need? And if it's your space, you've got to think about what you want. What do you want to feel in life? What do you want to get out of life? What things in your life do you want to improve? Then you try and work out what energy in this room might help that. What artwork, what sculptures, what objects that might stimulate that feeling. Again, that's where metaphysics gets involved. See, crystals are real things. You can put them in the room. They'll have an effect. And you go further into Feng Shui. Again, you've got these 4 directions. They further subdivide it into 8. They have the octagon. That's called the pakwa. But the octagon is still just really an extension of the pentagram, the 5 elements. So they simply you can still look at it as water at the bottom, fire at the top, metal at the east, wood at the east, metal at the west. And then in between, you've got the variations. So it's still just a movement of energy going through all its different variations. And then if you really want to go into what's written about it, you've got to study the I Ching, and it gets very complicated. You can look at it all. They've got mathematics to go together with this. But again, it's all magic. You can have this pakwa symbol is metaphysics. It resonates with this real fundamental philosophy of the universe. And the Taoist masters would use this pakwa. They'd meditate, visualize the pakwa on their body. You have the pakwa and you have the yin-yang inside the pakwa. You would literally visualize it on your body, meditate, because it will collect, harmonize the energy in your body and connect you to the universe. And they do chanting. You see, the pakwa, they'd have names for each side. And in the names, again, Chinese language, it was very powerful. Just like the older languages, the sounds would resonate with reality. Deep metaphysics, resonance with fundamental forces. So if I do the chanting, the pakwa, they would do it and they would point the 8 directions like this. Kan li chen tui kun ken sun chen. Kan li chen tui kun ken sun chen. They would do something like that, and they were creating magic in the space. So that's how they would do it. It's part of their meditation, as well as part of space. Geomancy. And of course they've got to feel the energy of the earth as well. This goes back to the ancient shamans. They'd be doing this. The Native Americans, the native tribes, they'd know how to do this. But they'd be feeling the natural energy. Or there's a mountain over there. There's a lake there. There's a river there. Let's put our building right there. They'd know how to do it. So it's subjective science. Very difficult to understand. But again, you don't need to study all that. You've just got to meditate, train, practice the energy, feel the energy, look at the room, meditate on the room, try and feel the energy and work out how you might improve the flow of energy. It's all about fluid, moving the fluid. Same in our body, the energy's got to move. It's when the energy gets stuck, that's when you get imbalance, you get ill health. It's the same in a space. When you get clutter, the energy's stuck, it gets stuck. It's quite literally constipation. The same thing. You've got to get the energy, the digestion has got to flow. Digestion is this 5 elements. It's the process of the universe digesting energy. It's all the same thing. It's a fundamental science of the way everything works. But you can't see this. You have to look at this from an outside perspective. This is like this is a holographic nature of the universe. Hologram means everything is reflected in everything else. It's also a fractal universe. The same thing. Fractal means any size. When you look smaller or you look bigger, you still see the same pattern. You still have the yin yang. It's always a yin yang. Different levels, but you can have different symbols. You see, you've got the cross. That's another powerful symbol, and that symbol will appear when you look at it in different levels. And you will have the cross moving. When you have a moving cross, what's that? Well, now you put lines like it's moving. That's the yin yang. Again, ancient Hindu symbol. But if you know this symbol, I don't want to say it, it's been misused. Of course it's been misused. But the real symbol comes from Hinduism. Very powerful esoteric symbol. See, they know these symbols have power. That's why they use them. But they are misusing the power for their own personal gain. You can do that. Remember, this is not ethics. Ethics is how you use power. There is power and there is ethics. If you're just looking for power, that is the Sith. That is the dark side of the Force. If you are using ethics, that's the Jedi. That's the light side of the Force. So you can use Feng Shui for dark side of the Force. That's why they build us this brutalism. Brutalism is architecture designed to trap you, make you feel small, weak. It stunts your energy, stop the flow of energy. That's why we're living in boxes. It doesn't flow so well. Yeah, they say it's cheaper. Yeah, cheaper. That means they don't value us. Yeah, just cheap. You can have cheap buildings. But if you look at it, brutalism was well discussed, studied, serious research into how to create brutalism to oppress the people. It's written about. So that's bad Feng Shui, done on purpose. And you'll have Feng Shui in China, they get wars, they battle. 2 rival corporations, they'll build a building with an angle that just cuts the opponent's building. So they're using it for battle, for war. That's dark magic. They'll do dark magic spells to destroy their enemy in business. So that's the dark side of the force. Why are you doing that? You don't have to do that. We just want the energy to flow better. So we're doing the light side of the force, the Jedi. And that's what Feng Shui is as well. It's technology. We're using the force. You feel it. And then you could go around and cleanse the energy, do your meditation, tidy up the space, reorganize the stuff. And again, remember, you come from the front door, you walk in, the front door is like the river comes in, because the life force, the person, walks in the front door. So that's where the energy comes in, and then you look round and see, where's the energy going to go? How is it going to flow? You're going to create spirals, movements of energy. And then you think, where's a good place to sleep? You want to find a nice place to sleep where you feel comfortable. So there again, they'll say when you sleep, you should be able to see the door. Because if you sleep with your back to the door, you don't feel comfortable. Someone could come into the door. So you've got to think you feel it. It's where you feel comfortable. And again, mirrors. They use mirrors, but mirrors, again, are interesting. Mirrors are metaphysics. Because if you have a mirror, you're looking into the mirror. You see another space. But of course, there's not really any space in the mirror. The space is in the room, but the mirror creates a reflection of the space. The inside the mirror is metaphysics. You see a space there, but there isn't one. There is a metaphysical space in the mirror. So that's very deep philosophy. And when your soul, your mind sees it, it will go into the mirror. That's why they use the mirror for magic. You go into the mirror, it takes you into hypnosis. It takes you into the spirit world. Because you've gone into imagination now. You've gone into what it looks like a real space, but it's not a real space. It's a metaphysical space. But deeper philosophy of the Tao, the metaphysical world comes before the physical world. So actually, the reflection in the mirror creates the real world. It's the other way around. So you will have good luck mirrors, the pakwa. They'll have an octagon with a yin-yang, and inside the middle of the yin-yang is a mirror, a concave mirror. So that's like the mirror is the metaphysical empty space, and it comes out to the yin-yang, to the pakwa. That's the whole universe. And this is a little powerful mirror. And they use that for luck. Luck just means good energy. What does that good energy means? Energy flows nicely. It just means more energy. Good energy means balanced energy. Balanced energy. So when they create these little symbols, it's to create perfect balance. And the pakwa with the yin yang and a mirror is the universe, a symbol of the universe in perfect balance. But again, the Hindus do it. They'll put little symbols around. Or they all do it. These little symbols, doesn't really matter what they are. They tend to be quite universal symbols. And you can have your own ones, whatever you like. Good luck symbols. It's just a symbol of balance. When you see it, it resonates balance with you. You feel good. So this is how we do Feng Shui. Feel the flow of energy in the room, and then think about it. You've got the 4 directions, north, south, east, west, and you've got the 4 directions when you put it by the front door or the entrance. And you just think about it in those 2 different ways and feel the shape. What objects have you got in the room? How could you position those objects just to get a nice flow, a different effect? So I hope this made sense. Do let me know. Give me any questions or comments. And sometimes the comments disappear. It's not me, but YouTube sometimes deletes comments. Please try again. I never delete a comment. Thank you so much for listening, for your time. And I really hope to see you in any of these other videos here.